Hiya, welcome to today's pre-recorded lecture for the week 10 of the Essential Reporting module. This is going to be a short one. I'm going to be short and to the point today. So firstly, if you are planning to come to the Monday morning online workshop, I may not be there at the very beginning of that, so if you turn up at 9 o'clock, that's fine, but just crack on with the exercise that's in the folder for week 10, which is all about a hill walker. So start on that exercise and I'll join you soon after you start. I may be there at the beginning, but there's something which I need to attend to first thing. So get on with that exercise and I'll join you and we'll go through that for the Monday online session. Otherwise, if you're coming to your scheduled face-to-face session, I'll see you on time on either Tuesday or Wednesday. So cracking on, let me just get some slides up. So here we go. So this week is going to be all about getting ready for the news writing test, which is on this Thursday. So that is Thursday, December the 3rd at 10 a.m. It's important you are there for that. It's an assessment, so you have to do it at that time. Key thing is if you want to know all the secrets to passing this test and doing well, Martin's video last week was very good and went through all the basics. So there's no point me repeating all of that. Just watch Martin's video from last week, which is in the week 9 folder. And if you've watched it already, watch it again. It's a really useful way to get ready for the news writing test. So the key thing you'll notice it's an online test. You don't arrive at a particular room. You choose the place where you do it, and you do it online. So you need to make sure you've got a quiet place, somewhere you're not going to be disturbed, and that you've got a good internet connection. And that's at 10 a.m. Next Thursday, December the 3rd. We do monitor the similarity, so if you're thinking, oh well, they can't stop me copying somebody, well, that's not entirely true, because we have similarity filters. We look at your work, and if we see a significant similarity word for word, and often mistakes are repeated, then not only will you be disqualified, but the person you've copied from will be disqualified. So basically, don't give your work to somebody else, because you run the risk of being disqualified from the test. This assignment is worth 70% of the overall module, so it's important you turn up and you do well. It's an hour and 30 minutes, unless you have a reasonable adjustment plan which is agreed with the university, agreeing you to get extra time. If you've got one of those, then we're aware of it, and we'll give you your finish time individually. But for most of you, it is 1 hour and 30 minutes, which is plenty of time to do this test. So the format of the test is exactly the same as we've been doing in the workshops each week. You get a short story to write for question 1, so you get a certain amount of information. You write a short story for immediate web publication, and so that's up to 140 words. One of the key things is write up to the upper limit. Don't fall short of that very far. I mean, 130 words fine, but try not to let it slip down too far. And this is worth 25% of the overall test score. And the another key point about question 1 is do question 1 before you read question 2. Do not read question 2 until you've finished question 1. Otherwise, you may find out stuff which you shouldn't know yet. Once you have finished question 1, you move on to question 2, and this is worth 75% of the test score. And for this one, I would allow about 60 minutes, about an hour. So for the first question, I would say 20 to 25 minutes maximum. Aim for 20 minutes. Second question, about an hour. Remember, this is a completely separate story that you're writing. It's going to have a new angle. And also make sure you do not assume that your reader has read anything about the story before. So they have not read your first story. So you're telling them the story completely fresh to a completely new audience. Again, it's a web story for immediate publication, and you can use any material from either question 1 or question 2 in this answer. So you've got all of the information available to you at this point. There will always be a new intro, a new angle, so always look for that and read the questions carefully. So key things to think about. These are things which Martin went through, so more detail in those slides from last week and that talk which Martin pre-recorded and is now in the week 9 folder. So really think about your intro. Spend a bit of time trying to refine your intro. Remember, an intro is different to a headline. An intro is a fully formed English sentence which captures the story in a concise, clear way. Do not clutter your intro with too much detail. Things like street addresses and ages and things like that, generally they can drop down further down the story. Your intro is there to tell people the key information about the story. So I always give you the example of, a man bit a dog in Salford today. So we don't necessarily say exactly where in Salford. We don't say very much about the man, but I just want you to tell your reader essentially what this story is about. A little bit of geography is useful, so a town name, something like that, is useful in the intro. But the key thing is that it's a clear, fully formed English sentence which captures the essence of the story. Then we move on to the second and third parts. I always call these the engine room paragraphs, and that's where we start bringing in detail. Remember all those questions? So if you're stuck on your second or third parts, don't know what to write, just run through those questions in your head: who, what, when, where, why, how. So where did it happen? When did it happen? Who did it happen to? Think of those sorts of things. Start to bring in detail, and that's where we do bring in detail. We bring in names and we bring in ages and maybe street addresses, times that things happened, locations, whatever that might be. Once we've got through that, probably by about the third to fourth paragraph, you're going to start thinking about bringing in a quote. For story 1, I would suggest you use one quote, and for story 2, you're going to use a number of quotes because you've got much more space, up to 325 words in that second story. So remember, it's important you use quotes correctly. It's not just any random style you care to use. There's a specific style. So in the style of, he said, colon, that's the 2 dots, he said, colon, space, double quotes, then give the quote, blah, 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 then full stop, close quotes. So those are all important points. So Ian Wood said, colon, space, double quotes, blah, 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 full stop, close quotes. So remember that style and have a look at all the examples we've given you through the weeks. You'll see that style over and over again. Apostrophes. We went on about this early on in the module, and it matters. So make sure you're using apostrophes correctly. So there's a difference between when something is plural, i.e. there's lots of it, or when something belongs to somebody. An apostrophe is used before the S. So if you're not strong on apostrophes, go back to those early weeks and there's some slides explaining how to use apostrophes, or just Google it and just get used to doing it properly, because we care about these things. Similarly with capital letters, make sure you're using capital letters in the right places. So names, proper names, places, people, their names should have capital letters at the beginnings of sentences. The beginnings of quotes should have capital letters, but don't just use them randomly, because that makes your copy weaker. There's a tips sheet on Blackboard. It's in the if you go into the module on Blackboard, you'll see there's a reference material folder. So have a look at that. That tells you basically what people tend to get wrong in these tests. So if you look at that, I'm telling you before the test what you're likely to get wrong or where the danger areas are. Martin went through all of these last week, so look at his video. Also, there are practice exercises in the module. Go back over the last 10 weeks and you'll find loads and loads of exercises. We've looked at them already, but go back and start and try them again, and then compare your answers to these sample answers which are in the folders as well. So when it comes to submitting the test at the end of the test on Thursday, so you need to go to the module on Blackboard. You will scroll down, so that's how the module appears when you first see it. You need to scroll down and find the assessment folder. Ignore that for the moment at the bottom. So you scroll all the way down the module and you'll find assessment 1. You'll find the folder down there. So you click on that, out there. Ignore that for the moment, and it'll open up and you'll see this. So you'll see the assignment brief, but then you'll see a folder saying submit your news writing test here, and you click on that right there. And that will give you this view, and you'll see your name, and over on the right hand side you'll see 3 dots, and you click on those and that gives you a menu to upload your work. So that's when you upload your work. You click on upload, and that's where you get that folder, and that's obvious what to do there. So you click on Upload Submission, find your file, and upload it. So when we're talking about the file, so those things I've been skipping through, let me just go back to that. So you must use a Word document, just to stress that, not a PDF, not a dot pages, Apple file, whatever it is, it must be a Word doc. So you've got an Office 365 account, so you can access Word. So save a Word document locally onto your laptop or your PC, onto your desktop, or wherever you want to save it, but do it as a Word doc. Write your answers into a single Word document so that when you come to upload, you can upload a Word document. You can't upload a link to iCloud or OneDrive or anything. You need to upload the actual Word document. So make sure you take note of that, and that's how you upload. So just on that, if you haven't already, you should have seen some information about a module review to give your opinion on the module. So please make sure you follow the links that have been in your email on that. And the final reminder, this is the news writing test takes place this Thursday coming, December the 3rd at 10 a.m. So make sure you are logged on and ready to go. The test paper will appear in the module at 10 a.m. So as soon as you see the test paper appear in the module, I'll make sure it's very obvious where it is, you can start writing. You will then be given 90 minutes to complete the test unless you have extra time agreed, and then you at the end of that hour and a half, I'll then allow 10 minutes for you to submit your paper in the way that I've just shown you, and then I'll close the submission folder. So if you're late, you'll not be able to submit, and you'll have to undergo reassessment, in which case your mark would be capped at 40%. So don't be late. The timing is very strict because this is a formal test. So hopefully that's covered everything and you know what's going on. And if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me, and I'm very happy to answer it. So have a look back to the slides I've just run through. They're on Blackboard. Have a look at Martin's video from last week. Turn up to the workshops in the coming week, as I say, on Monday. If you arrive on Monday at 9 o'clock, just start doing the exercise that's available on Blackboard, and I'll join you as soon as I can. If you're coming to the face-to-face sessions next week, then it is where we normally are, in either 319 or in Damson 2, and I will see you face-to-face there. After the test, so once you've done the test on December the 3rd, the following week, as you know, you need to have returned home by December the 9th. So in week 11, so that's the week after the test, there'll be no pre-recorded lecture, and there'll be no Monday online workshop, because at that point everything will be online in week 11. So there will be the Tuesday and Wednesday workshops will take place, but they'll take place online. So you log in at your usual time. And that'll be all about preparation for assignment 2, which is the critical analysis and logs. So we'll look in more detail at assignment 2 in those workshops online. You can always ask for individual tutorials by appointment, so just drop Martin a line or me a line, and we will be happy to arrange to meet. Just to stress, you should have had a test and travelled home by Wednesday, December the 9th. Make sure that by the Wednesday of week 11, that's the week that begins on December the 7th, make sure you had a test and you've travelled home by Wednesday, December the 9th. The government has required that you do that. The following week after that, week 12, there will be no lecture and no workshops, but we're very happy to meet you for individual tutorials to discuss your second assignment. So if you want a tutorial to discuss your assignment, drop us a line and we'll arrange a meeting. Because by that point you'll be working on your individual assignment, so there's no point talking as a group. We're happy to talk to you individually. So assignment 2, remember, there's an assignment brief on Blackboard. Martin will go through this in week 11 during those online workshops. So good to see you. Thanks for your attention, and good luck with the news writing test. Make sure you know what you're doing. 10 o'clock on Thursday, December the 3rd, you need to be logged on, and you need to follow the instructions carefully using a Word document you've saved locally. So don't forget to get in touch if you have any questions, and I will see you at the workshops. Take care.